I'm sure the words will come to me. I'm sure. Hmm. In some ways, this is so much better than like not making the postseason. The It's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all, or however that Shakespeare guy put it. They've never been closer. It's the furthest they've ever been, pathetically. Um, there's that. And then there is definitely part of me, and it's an emotional part of me to be sure, that just wishes they would have lost to Detroit in four. Just lose to Detroit in four. Because getting this close and losing is it's devastating. It's absolutely devastating. To lose this way too. And I am choosing to make this a recap of the year instead of a recap of the game because then I don't lose my money. But you can't recap the year without talking about the fact that you were up 3-1. The Mariners blew a 3-1 lead. Hey, they get to be part of that. Isn't that fun? Uh you're up 3-1. You have 8 outs to get. You got to get 8 outs. 8 outs. 8 of them. That's all. That's it. 8 outs. You get 8 outs. You go to the World Series for the first time in your franchise's history, and you can't do it. And why can't you do it? So many reasons. So many reasons. Some of them because you don't score enough runs tonight. You score 3 runs, you're playing with fire. You are playing with fire, especially the way this team has pitched lately. Um, you're playing with fire. You don't score enough runs, and your pitchers don't do the job at the end. Right? You have to acknowledge the Jimmies and Joes here. In this case, an Edward and a Brian, a little bit of George, but mostly an Edward and a Brian. You have to acknowledge them. They're part of the reason why you don't win, for sure. And you got to acknowledge the person who put those players into that position. And that's the manager of the Seattle Mariners. And if you asked me to play the blame game, right? Let's play the blame game. Let's do it percentage wise. Let's make a hypothetical wheel. I am going 30% the offense. No, I'll go 25% the offense. I'll go 25% the players, the pitchers. And I will go 50% the manager of the Seattle Mariners because I've talked about this before. I think the number one job of a manager is the clubhouse. And it's hard to quantify, but it's a really important job. And from everyone I've talked to, from everything I've seen, I think Dan Wilson does a really good job in the clubhouse. The players like playing for him. The players like playing for him, and it matters. Okay. The second thing, and the thing that's a little bit more quantifiable, is that the right word? If it's not, just leave something in the comments. Is putting your players into position to succeed. And the one thing I think I can criticize the manager of the Seattle Mariners, I said his name. Why am I afraid to say it? It's Dan Wilson. The one thing I think we can criticize Dan Wilson for, I don't think he always did a very good job of that in putting his players in the best position to succeed. And I think, unfortunately, Game 7 of the American League Championship Series was a prime example of that failure. A prime example of that failure. And to lose that way. And I'm just going to be honest. When I saw Bizzardo come in, I knew in my heart of hearts that they weren't going to win that game. And it's not because I don't think Bizzardo's good. Bizzardo deserves a ton of credit for being one of the stabilizing parts of this pen. I almost said farts of this pen. He definitely wasn't a fart. Tonight, fart adjacent. He deserves a ton of credit. The Mariners deserve a ton of credit for unlocking that version of Bizzardo. He's been awesome. And he was really good in Game 6. But he threw 2 innings in Game 6. He threw 2 innings in Game 6. You're just asking for failure. You're asking for failure. If it was the bottom of the lineup, I would have had no issue going to Bizzardo there. I also think that leaving Wu in to begin the inning was a mistake. There was some hard contact there. You're asking an awful lot for a guy who has missed 2 months to come in and get that many outs in his second appearance in a month. It's asking a lot. It's asking a lot. And I know it's the bottom of the order. Man. If this video makes no sense, I'm sorry, and also I don't care. To get that close. To have a 3-2 lead in the series, to have a 3-1 lead in the 7th inning, to have a chance to advance to something you've never advanced, and to have it just snatched from you. Tonight's one of those nights where I wish I wasn't a sports fan. That I wish I was a Mariner fan, that I was a fan of a community guy, a person who roots for the local hometown 9, but doesn't live and breathe through them. And I kind of literally do it because it's my job now. It's a large part of my income. But right now, I wish I was a friggin' stockbroker or a doctor or a lawyer or something that pays a lot of money but doesn't have anything to do with this stupid baseball team. And I don't know if I'll feel that way tomorrow. I probably will. I'll probably actually be even more angry. Probably. I probably, in a couple of weeks, will get over this and be glad that I have this and all that stuff. And actually, I am glad I have this right now because this is a little cathartic. This is kind of nice getting to stare at a microphone and talk to you about how much this baseball team broke my heart and the sport broke my heart. But I wish I was a teacher, but like a teacher at a college. There were so many good things that happened this year. I'm going to do my best to remember that. And it'll be easier to do it. Maybe I'll do another video and just talk about those good things. But what you saw from Cal Raleigh this year, and of course he hits a homer today. What you saw for most of the year from Julio Rodriguez, and of course he hits a homer and a double today. And sucks that he has to be the last out, because a lot of uneducated baseball fans will point to him as the reason they lose, and it sucks. It is what it is. The Josh Naylor trade, the Gino Suarez trade. I mean, Molly, we're talking about the Mariners. Let's wake up. 14 years old. Why am I waking her up? There's a lot of good. The development from Brian Will, who became, I think, the Mariner ace, as all due respect to Logan Gilbert. Andres Munoz took a huge step forward this year. Bizzardo, nobody wants to hear it right now, but Bizzardo took a massive leap forward. We'll see if he can do it again. That could be Colin Snyder. That could be Justin Topa. But this year was really good. Randy had some great moments. We'll do all of this later. There's a lot of good, is what I'm trying to say. And yet, I would trade all of it for a win in this game. Now, how you do that, I don't know, because you don't get to this game without those guys. Not even close. Not even freaking close. But if I could take Cal Raleigh's 60 homers and turn it into 32 and you win the game, here you go. If I could take Julio's OPS after June and turn it from 900 to 800, there you go. If that somehow leads to a win tonight, I would do it in a heartbeat. Because I am frigging crushed. And here comes my freaking pity party for myself. I'm just wondering when life is going to get good. When is life going to get good? When am I going to have a moment where I feel like my life is good? There's some here and there. I hang out with my nieces, and I love that. I love hanging out with grandma. I called her tonight. She was pretty crushed. There's times where I like my job. There's times where I really don't like my job. Jobs. But I can't tell you I'm happy. And, what's that? What is it? If you aren't happy with a something, you'll never be happy with it. There's a movie that has a moment like that. There's definitely one. It's like, if you're not enough without this, then you'll never be enough with it. That's probably true. The Mariners wouldn't have winning the World Series, going to the World Series wouldn't have changed everything. I'd really like to see how much it could change. And I'm just going to be honest with you again. When I knew that I didn't get to go recap the game on this channel tonight, I'm very appreciative of what I get to do. But it hurt me a little bit that I didn't get to just go right here. It hurt me. And I'll have an interesting winter. And I'm just sad. I'm really sad. I'm sad. I'm a little angry. Let me tell you another reason that I'm angry is I had ESPN opened, and ESPN is like 3 pitches ahead of my Comcast. So I saw the big blue Springer homers ahead of it, and there was part of me that was like, "Let this be a mistake. Let this be wrong." It wasn't wrong. I I don't know. Hit like, hit subscribe. I I love you guys.